Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we'll be discussing about the social, economic and educational aspects of Bahmani Empire. Okay, let's get into the video. Now, see when we say economy, right, or wealth generation, right, it was happening based on three things, right? First, through land, okay. Second, through trade, okay. Third, through, okay, control of important areas. We'll discuss each one of this in detail. Now see land. Land is nothing but your agricultural land. Yeah, more the fertile the land is, okay, the more income will be generated from that. Yes, two types of lands are there, right? One is Kalisa land, other is the land called as Jagir lands. See, both are here agricultural lands only, okay, that is fertile lands which have the potential, okay, which have the potential to generate greater income by producing good produce, right? By producing good agricultural produce. If more the amount of produce, then you can sell more, then you can get more money, then more tax, right? See, look at this. Land was divided into two types. One is Kalisa land, one is Jagir land. Kalisa land is usually very fertile, okay, and easy to manage. Okay, now if okay, let's compare two pieces of land. One is very fertile, one is moderately fertile. If you're going to generate, right, good amount of wealth, which one will you generate from? The one which is supremely fertile or the one which is moderately fertile? The one which is supremely fertile? Yes. Now that kind of supremely fertile land was added into Kalisa land, and this, okay, the administration or the economy from this Kalisa land directly went to the imperial or emperor. Alright, this directly went into the exchequer of your king or sultanate, right? Second is your Jagir lands or gift lands or grant lands, okay, grant lands. Remember in the previous aspect in the administration, we were talking about something called as tarafs, tarafdar or subedar, right? Jagirs were given as gifts or as payment rather than cash, right? Jagir was one such land given to the nobility, alright? The next in line is your trade. Trade again. See, trade will be of two types, right? Trade out of goods, alright. Next, trade out of ports. See, what will you trade? Generally, goods, handicrafts, textiles, spices, right? Bahmani kingdom, pay your Russian traveler has told that more of the goods were something related to horse trade, your spices, pepper, right? And then textiles. All this was very, for example, fur, right? These things were all traded, right? This forms the goods. Where will it be traded? That forms ports, right? So the goods traded in ports, both are economic generating. See, the ports means, one thing about ports is not only, if we're talking about Bahmani Empire, only Bahmani Empire will not trade in this port. For example, your Konkan coast or your Goa port, right? Only Bahmani Empire will not trade there. Other people also will come to trade. For example, we said the contemporaries are Portuguese, right? Your Portuguese also will come for trade. Your the Jayanagar people will also come for trade. Bahmani had large trade relationship with respect to Iran, Iraq, Persia, Turkey, right? All of them will come there. All of them will trade there. So anyone who controls this port automatically means increased wealth, right? Now, the third thing is control of important areas. Okay, see in one of the ones, see in one of the videos we were discussing Raichur Hatti gold mines. Okay, the Raichur Doab, how important it was. Then second, you can say your Golconda diamond mines. right? The constant conflict was to control these regions so they could get the wealth from there. Alright, so economy took place on these three aspects. The conflict between your Jayanagar and Bahmanis was for Raichur Doab. Why? Region, resources, Hatti gold mine, right? Like the third one we said, control of important areas, right? One such thing was your Raichur Doab. We've discussed that in earlier videos. The next in line is your Krishna Godavari basin. Okay, for this region, the fertility of this region, okay, demanded that, right, the control of this land, whoever has control of this land will get more additional wealth. So there was constant conflict for this. Wars were fought. The area or this zone of influence, okay, each of them were trying to control, right? This also, if this comes into their zone of influence, for example, if this particular place comes into Bahmani zone of influence, which means their wealth will increase, their economy will increase. This one such thing was, first is Raichudu, second is Krishna Godavari basin. Let's see how Krishna Godavari basin looks like in contemporary times or present times. Look at this. This is your Krishna Godavari basin, the highlighted area. In contemporary times. Okay, this region, A, it's fertile, B, it's a natural port area, so it is a 2-in-1 advantage for anyone who controls this region. Right, if you see the regions around this, okay, this has been birthplace of many kingdoms. Okay, this has been a zone of conflict between many kingdoms. Okay, reason why we just discussed. All right. Next, the next zone of conflict or the next zone which was economic producing or economic producing potential, right, which, right, for example, your Bahmanis and Vijayanagar wanted to control, okay, in that sphere was your Konkan belt, okay, mainly for the Marathwada region because of the Goa port, right? See, this Goa port was extremely important for, first thing, your Bahmanis, Vijayanagars, your Europeans in the name of Portuguese. Remember the story? How Portuguese, they leased out, rented out, they tried to convert it to, a second home of Portuguese. Even today we see influences of Portuguese in Goa. Yes, so Goa was to play a crucial role in trade. In turn, economy. Look at this. The Konkan Kostka regions was mostly important, one for port reasons, another mainly for Goa. This particular region was very important because this became a trade zone between, okay, this became an area of confluence between multiple other kingdoms, multiple other zones of interest. For example, your Iran, Iraq, right? They all traded in this particular zone. They all came to trade in this particular zone. So anyone who controlled this particular zone was to have an upper hand in trade. Right? Now we've spoken so much about trade. Right? Something to deal with economy. Let's see the societal aspects with respect to trade. Okay? One thing is, see, which class took up trading? Now look at this. Which class took up trading? See, the majority religion or Bahmani rulers belonged to, okay, our followers of Islam. Okay, they were Muslims. But you can also see religious tolerance in Bahmani Empire most of the times. Okay, they are more of cosmopolitan in nature. Why is that? Because of trade. Again, why? Because trade is there, they are being cosmopolitan? Not that. See, the trade that was happening within the Indian region, okay, that was with Hindu merchants, right? Within the Bahmani region or within India, the trade was taking place majorly by Hindu merchants. The trade that was happening in the coastal and outside of Bahmani regions, right, all The trade that was happening with respect to coastal and outside regions, that was mainly focused on your Muslim merchants, right? Which meant Bahmani Empire or kingdom did not house just Muslims or Hindus, but locals, foreigners, Europeans, right? It brought in a mixture of people of varied religion, of varied region, and of varied language, right? Which created a multi-ethnic scenario, leading to a cosmopolitan nature. Okay, that is why Bahmani, even though the majority of the rulers were followers of Islam, but the people or the culture or the economy, right, the society of Bahmani was more of cosmopolitan in nature. Understanding? Now, we just saw the zones of influence. One, we said it's Raichur, right? Second, we saw Krishna Basin. Then we spoke about your Konkan coast or Goa port. The other thing of interest is your Golconda diamond mines. Okay, nearby. Okay, this is nearby to your Raichur Doab. Right? The control and fight for this again. Whoever fights gets the influence, which means the upper hand. Right? Next, as we discussed, Kalisa land. Right? Land into Kalisa land, Jagir land, right? So, another form of adding economy to the royal treasury, alright? As we discussed, this particular region, right, was very important, be it for your Vijayanagars, be it for your Bahmanis, or be it for your Europeans, nothing but your Konkan coast or Goa port, right? This particular region of influence, okay, of your Bahmanis, this became a zone of trade between India with your Iran, Iraq, right, Africa, alright. This zone was too important, okay. So anyone who controls this gets the upper hand in trade, ports, goods, alright. Now, what are the sources? For example, right, this is there in Hampi, indicating horse trade. Now, Hampi, if we say it, will mean it something with Vijayanagar. Yeah, we're talking about Bahmani. Why are we mentioning about Jayanagar? Again, as we said, the contemporaries, right? The contemporaries always, okay? The trade of horses were very important to both Bahmani as well as Vijayanagar. We've discussed about the horse trade during both the times, right? We've also spoken that high branded horses or horses coming from good lineage were chosen. Horsemen to ride those horses were chosen, right? Both horsemen were important. Now this indicates the importance of horse in the Bahmani Vijayanagar kingdom. Next, let's look at how the society was in the Deccan Sultan or the Bahmani Empire. Okay, Bahmani rulers were mostly Sunnis, right? It was a cosmopolitan society. We just discussed how it is a cosmopolitan society. Yeah. Multiple languages: Persian, Marathi, Dakhani, Proto-Urdu, Kannada, Telugu. Yes. Right? That is why it makes it one of the features for the society to be cosmopolitan, is because of it being multilingual, multi-religion, right? Multiple ethnicities, okay? Multiple origins, right? Your race, everything starts to come into picture here, right? Religious tolerance was seen in the, largely religious tolerance was seen in the period of Bahmani Empire. See, now if you point out one king or two kings where they were religiously, they may be intolerant, right? But in general, if you're going to sum up for Bahmani kings, okay, at large they were religiously tolerant, alright? They patronized art, architecture and culture, right? Now we'll look into the economy of your Delhi Sultans, right? As we said, the population of Bahmani state appears to be between poor and affluent nobles, right? So your Bahmani kingdom, right, Okay, we can club them in three factors: affluent or rich, right? Poor. This is common of any society. One thing interesting about Bahmani is we saw the emergence of middle class. Okay, the emergence of middle class is pretty much seen with respect to trade. Okay, with trade there was also emergence of middle class, little bit better than poor but not rich. All right, that is the emergence of middle class. Horses, clothes, salt, pepper, right? Important trade commodities, right? Your double, remember in one of your previous video, right? Bahmani administration, we've discussed in large about Dabol, the fight of Diu and all. If you have not checked out, please look at your Bahmani Empire administration, the previous parts. We will link it down below in the description. Okay, now horses were imported from Arabia, Turkestan, yes. Now musk and fur were also imported from China. It's just to see how the trade was taking place, what were the goods or commodities of interest. Alright. Now again, as we spoke about, trade Hindu merchants, long distance, coastal trade, Muslim merchants. That is within Bahmani Empire, within, okay, Indian subcontinent, right? Majority it was carried out by Hindu merchants, whereas in the coastal areas and outside travel, right, outside trade was all conducted by your Muslim merchants. Alright. Let's look into the education during the Deccan Sultans. See, one thing is they laid extreme importance to educations, right? They've built multiple madrasas, alright? Now look at here. They encouraged Arabic and Persian learning, right? Urdu also flourished during this period, built mosque, madrasas, hospitals, basically the zone of education or the spread of education was seen in this particular period. Now that's it for your Bahmani Sultans for the society, economy and education part. Please stay tuned for upcoming videos. If you do like our content, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel and then share it along with your friends. Thank you.